see, there you go. I'm glad that somebody was paying attention because your boy Rob was just engulfed in trying to learn and not be a pleb and get out of bishop lobbies.
Wow, this is interesting. He got a Tinker. I want to see what he does here. Does he put back the anti-mage or does he leave those two units on? Personally, I think the anti-mage is stronger.
Yeah, I was gonna say you want to keep that level
There,
2
Chaos Knight, anti-mage.
Those demons.
But having the 3 goblins can also make things work as well. He's very in pairs instead of anything else, I think.
Yeah, and Aleko, you talked about this too. It's usually fairly rare if somebody has the ability to go with a Tron, the 3 goblins, 2 mechs, that they don't do it. But in this case, I mean, what choice does he have? Like, he's got a level 2 anti-mage.
Yeah, I think you always want to be going for your level 2s early, especially a level 2 anti-mage, where you can just totally dominate fights. You see that he ended up playing against another player with a level 2 unit, and having the anti-mage line up against it, it never got to use its ability, and that probably determined the outcome of the whole fight. So
yeah,
if you're a newer player and you have a level 2 or a 3 synergy like warriors or goblins to choose from, I would pretty much always lean towards going with the level 2.
Well, and now he's going to be able to just go right back to the goblins.
Now he can run the goblin lineup with the entire lineup with the Templar.
What does he want to transition into here? So I was going to ask if he was going to try to transition maybe into demons or just maybe add another goblin, but the question has been answered.
It's got more
early,
goblins.
I think, to be making any determinations like that around round 5. I think you want to just have a strong team right now, and if you can get a few early wins and some gold bonuses like that, that's awesome. But you're probably not going to have to plant your flag in any kind of synergy for at least another few rounds.
Notice he didn't buy the Juggernaut. That means he probably won't have. He might sell the draw for the Juggernaut. I'm not sure. He's not doing it actually.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe sell the ogre and the drow to pick up the jug so that you can have jug axe in your back pocket.
Very interesting. Oh, he wants to go into the undead, but he could have had 2 Juggernaut. But the undead is really crucial here. So for any viewers out there that didn't notice, that anti-mage's damage from mana burn is actually physical damage. So the lower armor you have, the more damage anti-mage will do actually for this case. Anti-mage is a major DPS for him right now, as we can see.
Right. Well, but I'm just trying to wonder now, like, so he probably just doesn't think he needs that armor reduction bonus at this point. Like, he can just go with straight DPS, the regen from the goblins, and hopefully that'll be able to carry him through.
Yes,
so he actually has to choose between the goblin buff or the undead bonus at this point.
That's right.
I think in the early stage like this, when level 1s especially are around, level 1s attacking into anything with a goblin buff is really good news for the player with the goblin buff. They barely scratch it. So I think he's going to want to swap it over eventually, but definitely around like round 5, 6, 7, I think the goblin buff is going to be better than the undead bonus.
That's right. And once he have a 2-star 200, I think they'll change his mind as well. He's looking at enemy though. He's looking at enemy player, like just contemplating what they have. Oh, this is the top row.
It's a level 2 Tinker.
Level 2 Tinker is just fine.
And even after the nerf, Tinker is quite relevant with his damage before round 10, I feel.
Yeah, we talked about yesterday how if he does get to ultimate, his missiles are very potent in the early game. Obviously, level 3 is much better, but it is magic damage. And as we move into other builds, he could still have a place if you end up having a level 3 Tinker.
That is true. So on top of that, what we want to notice is that he changes the position of the Tinker so he can receive damage instead of being in the corner. Now that he's level 2. 2-star, that is.
And he is lined up against somebody else who also has a level 2 Tinker, but the level 2 Tinker on the other side didn't look like it was doing quite as much. And this anti-mage is doing work against his Timbersaw, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make it through.
He will make it. He's got an nanobot buff, and that's incredible for any unit. I think now it's just the Ogre. He should be able to cut down the Ogre.
Oh,
I believe. No. I am mistaken. Indeed.
That'll teach you to make a guess.
Indeed. Oh, that's a top row again. Imagine if he got this row earlier. He wouldn't have lost. Now, what I was going to say is, notice how he's got a bounty hunter? Sometimes what I might do is, I might put down Abaddon instead of a bounty hunter at that stage, because he already have 3 goblins back then. And there's a chance of the buff going onto the bounty hunter that become a wasteful. So, But that didn't change anything because Anti-Mage got a buff actually last round. Oh, he's missing one Juggernaut as well.
Yeah, that's interesting because of him skipping the Juggernaut earlier, but he does have 3 level 2 pieces. It's only round 8, so normally you're going to feel pretty good about that, especially if they're Goblin mechs. The only problem now is he still has to be able to transition into something that will serve late game, because it is pretty hard to get into a 6 Goblin lineup without getting a little bit fortunate, and his bench doesn't look like it has all of the pieces to try to think that long term just yet.
Definitely. And this is really painful when versing Enchantress over here. And if the Vandal didn't die, he could be facing more HP loss as well. Now, do we notice that he preemptively leveled up over here, so he enjoyed the level 6 race, and that's one of the reasons he found the Conquer as well, with 7%. This is a top row, by the way.
Yeah, early Kunkka is massive.
I know, even after the nerf, still very relevant.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to get the level 2 Jug tier as well, so he can really transition to almost anything he wants to. Timbersaw is probably going to take a seat here for Jug.
This is like too many good things on the table, actually.
Right.
Yeah, he also wants to get this Abaddon in for the undead.
Exactly. Now, if he had a 1-star clock, everything changes, but it's a 2-star clock, so he still kept it.
Yeah, so he's still favoring the Goblin bonus around round 9.
Yeah.
Now, sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
So I was going to say, just to share some insight, I did manage to get a few Queen accounts with Goblins, so I think we are pretty good with Goblins in terms of transition and understanding. So what I was going to say, there's 2 types of Goblins. One is the gambling kind of rolling Goblins, which you stay low and spend some money. The other type is the economy Goblin that you try to raise to level 8 and 9 to start rolling for techies. And personally, I prefer the second type of Goblins.
Yeah, we haven't seen him reroll just yet, but he also hasn't needed to.
No, that's incredible.
Pretty naturally hit all of these pairs.
Yeah, it's just that's what those Queen players do. You see, they naturally hit the pairs. Unlike us, I tend to have I have to really pay for them.
Yeah, and what I want to talk about too is in his previous rounds, he went 4 points, 14, 14, 6, 8. So he got 2 wins, and then some other performances that weren't that great. So what does that kind of say to you if somebody's got 2 firsts and then a couple of other like mediocre performances? Does that mean he's just more of a high rolly kind of player? I mean, is that what we're probably going to be looking for?
It could be about a strategy that he goes for, generally speaking. So I think one thing I talked about before the cast yesterday was that I expected players to play pretty aggressively when like every slot and every position matters for getting more points for finishing just like 1 spot higher from 4th to 3rd. But I think most players were actually approaching the game with the mindset that they needed to be getting top finishes, not that they just wanted to be doing every 1 spot better than they could and play aggressive, but that they wanted to actually get 1st and 2nd as much as possible. So we saw a lot of greed, I think, yesterday compared to at least what I was expecting. So I think that could just be a result of him being greedy, potentially going for like lose streak strats.
Yeah, and what I'm looking, he has 46 points, which the top player has 62. All right, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to catch possibly the person in first, but the good thing about this is that the points there's additional points in day 2. So getting a win is going to, especially in the first round, is going to go a long way to being able to secure yourself a spot in the final.
Definitely. Now, is Redbeard one of the squad leaders actually? I think I remember seeing him somewhere. He posted that he actually won 100% game as well.
Yeah, Redbeard had 54 points. He started off with a 6-pointer, but then went 12, 14, 14, 8. So he got a second, first right in the middle.
Ooh. He did find a Master Man as anti-mage with the Enchantress again, which is a very strong lineup in the early game. Ooh, good quality upgrades for him again. Now, what I'm really interested to see is how he transitions out of this kind of goblinish lineup, because this lineup is really big punishment after round 21. So what I feel is other lineups do mature, like Trolls and Knights, and this is the hardest part for Goblin. He did sell one, as you can see.
Yeah, and that's going to be what we're going to teach everyone today. So for my Queen guys here on our cast, so many of us players who are like that middle ground kind of player, we can get to this point. We can get our level 2s. We know we can get a Goblin strategy, but how do we set up to transition into the next phase, Leko?
I think you really have to be looking at what the game is handing you. And in this particular game, I need to double check this game again. Kartoha has been handed a Kunkka. So if I have a Kunkka, there's a couple of different ways you can branch out from there, but I definitely know that I want to be putting him into my lineup, and if possible, trying to get him to level 2 quickly and have him be kind of a feature piece. So that can either be part of warriors. He also fits pretty well into mages. And then sometimes he could also slot into some other things that are maybe not so slot hungry. So I would be looking to try to get warriors where possible. That's definitely one viable way to transition. Mages if they come to me. But I would be looking at the 4-cost pieces that I'm getting at this stage of the game and trying to use those to kind of push me in a certain direction, because it's generally pretty easy to pick up the 1s and 2s. It's the 4s that really kind of determine the direction of your build.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this axe and jug, and in these warrior lineups, like right now, the orc bonus is probably just a little bit relevant, so it's going to be able to carry him through here. But as we get a little bit farther, that orc bonus is going to become less and less relevant, and I'm just kind of concerned now that his scalability right now, because he's not re-rolling, he's not really being aggressive. Is he going to be able to transition correctly? And again, he's presented with a bunch of stuff that he doesn't really need except out of the Slardar.
Oh, Hunters. Notice he wants to sell the Tinker, and he's been looking at Tinker for a while now. He's looking at Tinker, then he sold the Tinker, as you can see. He wants to go into Hunters. I think he missed the Beastmaster. He's probably saying something about missing the Beastmaster, but now he's see more Hunters. I think he's going to transition, I think, guys. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's looking.
So he could pick up that Wind Ranger and then the Sniper.
That's right.
He's going to really wish that he held on to the Abaddon.
That's
right,
true.
because the Undead bonus would be so sick. Undead plus the Hunter bonus would be very, very good. And he could obviously just remove the Axe because it's going to not be that impressive. But, you know, we saw it yesterday. Undead Hunters can really carry you and scale, because you do have a lot of really nice Undead pieces in the 5 range.
Definitely. And notice how it was a great decision to swap items from the Tinker, because the Medusa with any mana regeneration item is actually incredibly strong.
No. Interesting to see him put the Blightstone onto the Medusa. Where do you typically like to put Blightstones, Matt? Because that's something that's actually like, it's not solved, right? Like sometimes I feel like you want to put them on units that attack quickly because they get a lot of attacks in, but sometimes you want to put them on tanks because the armor debuff applies to everything. Like, where do you usually put your Blightstones?
Personally, I think it's a really great question, because personally I tend to explain why I put items on units as well. I feel that putting in a range unit have the highest chance of them hitting most of the enemies without having trouble to be blocked by things. So I tend to give it to the Draw Ranger, the Medusa, or the Windrunner most of the time. But I also consider the chance of finding a Desolator. To notice how he swapped for the Dwarves, guys, it's very important to swap for the Dwarves. And Anti-Mage doesn't do well to the Dwarves because he doesn't burn mana of the Dwarves. And I'm not sure if you guys knew, so a unit can only get 10 mana maximum for a normal unit, and unless you have things like Void Stone or Crown, no matter how hard it hits. So attack speed and mana regeneration is key for normal units, but a unit like Warlock, Shaman and Mages will get 20 mana per hit maximum after dealing 50 damage to the enemy. So we also noticed that Shadowfang is a Demon and a Warlock. He double dips in his pure damage with Demon, he also dips in with Warlock. That's why Shadowfang can 3 hit with full mana even at level 1.
All right, so with these items, what does he want to put these items on? Is he going to put the armor on the Dusa and then also this quarterstaff on the Dusa? Oh, but he's going to be able to get to a level 2 Wind Ranger.
I know. So he can think of a Master Madness, which can go on to a Draw Ranger, but the armor probably go on to Juggernaut or Axe, I feel, or even Conquer. Now he just transitions very nicely into the Hunter lineup with a greedy saving strategy. So not only he benefits from a health pool advantage, he also benefits from, you see, he did give it to the Axe for him to be tankier. I think he's contemplating. I will give it to the Dusa, to be honest. There you go. So giving to the Dusa allows her to attack faster, gain mana faster.
This is an incredibly high amount of gold to have on round 16.
Definitely incredible. And
yeah, and I was just going to say, he probably wants to sell the Anti-Mage because, I mean, even though it's a good unit and it's something that, you know, it does work really well against a lot of teams, I think something to think about is how likely am I actually to ever slot this into my team going forward? And I think when you think about the 7th, 8th, 9th pieces that he's looking to put in, it's just never going to be anti-mage.
Yeah,
so selling
never.
it for interest there is a good decision.
Yeah, he also has a Lone Druid to boot. I think he might just level up, put down a Lone Druid as well. It's perfect curve, and you know it's a great tank for his lineup. Oh, he rolled.
Well, is he trying to find a level 2? How greedy does he want to be here?
I know. I'm a little surprised
as
well.
Greedy.
This is very greedy. He pushed hard into his savings box, and now he's still gonna do the same thing.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess at that point, if you're really trying to take first and you want to say, okay, if he gets a level 2 Lone Druid right there, he's going to be able to push that for a long time and probably be able to not only preserve his win streak, but be able to keep his life total in line and really punish some of the players that he plays against, because that bear ain't going anywhere at this level.
That's right. Even after the nerf, the bear's incredible. And I think one of the reasons he pushed is he had a win streak and he hasn't been losing HP for a while. He wanted to protect that win streak. And that's really crucial for us to remember as well. He's looking at the opponent without his units, probably not feeling that good seeing all the deuces over there.
And Murdercore, I haven't heard from you, but here, remember we talked yesterday, because again, you're like me, you're a scrub like me. But we talked about yesterday where you don't want, if you are ahead, you need to be able to scout, you need to be able to look around and see how powerful you really are. And have you been able to, kind of keep an eye out when he's been tabbing around to see his overall strength?
To be fair, no. I was not paying attention to what is going on currently in the game since I decided to go silent for the game, and I was just looking at the chat and observing what our viewers are kind of going into.
Okay. Well, then I'll kind of talk about it. Yesterday, we discussed that at this point, when you're in first, it's really easy to kind of mess this up because you're feeling a little bit too overconfident. So what you have to do is you do have to scout. You have to figure out your relative power level, because if you know that you are the best by far, you don't have to invest as much. If you are concerned that you're not, then you have to think about it again. You have to go, okay, maybe I do need to put some more spend some of this gold, put it on the board so I can keep my win streak. But in this case, maybe he thought he was really good and ended up not being.
There's also some calculated risks that you need to take too, right? Let's say there's only one person that you lose to, and it would cost you like 20 gold probably to find the upgrades that you really need worth of rerolls. Then you might want to say, well, I'll take the 1 out of 8 chance that I'm not going to play against the one player that's stronger than me.
Well, with the 3 warrior lineup and the 3 hunter, now he's going to go ahead and put this alchemist in. Do you like the positioning of Dusa? We talked about this yesterday. Where do we want to have Dusa? Right now, he's playing it as a ranged unit. He does have the quarterstaff to give it extra attack speed, but are we going to be able... Oh, there we go. We're going to hopefully get Stone Gaze off right now.
Oh, yeah. Perfect position for the Dusa, I have to say. Really nice. He takes some damage, but it's perfectly angled.
Yeah, and especially with a level 1 Medusa, you don't want to be quite frontlining it just yet.
Look at that focus fire, guys.
Gobbled up by stronger units, so you want to protect it.
It could Stone Gaze again, just cuz.
I know. Excellent. So the Void Stone is incredibly good on Dusa. And we did notice there was a 2-star Lone Druid that was by our opponent. There's an Elf lineup. There's a Troll lineup with Knights, and that's already matured. So it's actually quite threatening, but right now he has HP lead. So I think our player here is really comfortable where he is in terms of HP and income. It's just what RNG takes him very soon. Ooh, he replaced the Alchemist with a Doom, knowing how great Alchemist is for his minus arm actually.
Yeah, but we're talking about Doom here. We again, this is a situation now he's going to be able to get DPS. He'll be able to have the warrior bonus and maybe be able to Doom one of the big units that he's worried about.
I think he might put it back in after this creep round, or maybe like sell Axe or something. I think that we're at the point of the game where the Orc bonus is just not super significant. So we'll see. What I would be looking to do is get the Alchemist back in, potentially for the Axe or the Jug.
Well, he just put an item onto that Axe at the very last moment.
Oh, did he combine it? What was that item? I was actually reading chat while it's neutral around. Let's have a look.
Your Ring of Regen.
Ah.
Yeah,
Now they have changed it so you can't give items to a unit right after. Oh, this is a big highlight. Notice he went up a level on this round. So this is what I talk about power
Oh,
spikes.
there's a techies too.
Oh, I know. As a Goblin player, like my eye shines up when I see it.
Yeah, I get a little excited every time I see a techies, and when it doesn't get bought, I just feel something went wrong. Why is a techies not on my bench right now?
It's like a Christmas gift not received.
Yeah.
How can you say no to techies, right?
I cannot. I just don't have that self. I don't have that willpower.
Techies so great. A level 2 techies fits any lineup, I have to say.
Of course, it fits. It is a lineup. What are you talking about? This level 2 techies is the jam. It's like that old school song that you hear on the radio, and it just makes you feel good every day of the week.
I think he's waiting until the end of the fight to determine which unit he has to sell to get the techies. I'd be really surprised if he doesn't take it.
Oh, let's see. I'm not sure why he really favors the Razor and keep up the light. I think he's trying to do
Wow.
I would sell the Razor for sure. I don't know what well, I guess he's trying to go mages. Like, he does have the Coddle. That's really surprising to me that he didn't take the techies there, because he has this very like physical damage based team, and it looks like he's trying to hard swap into mages from this spot.
But he has so many archers. Like, this is going to be very interesting as well.
Yeah, I would not really be looking to transit. I guess maybe he doesn't think that hunters have what it takes to win in the late game, and he wants to be able to transition into a different like damage dealing core. I've done quite a bit of testing with hunters, and they don't get a lot of firsts. They're pretty good at getting third places and second places, but they really do get outpaced by some of the better late game builds. So maybe that's what he's thinking here. He just doesn't want to be staying on this synergy because he does want to be shooting for those first place finishes in order to win the tournament.
Yeah, and right now he's going to have a small problem. Even though the boat's going to come in, he's still going to... I don't know if he's going to be able to actually finish this out, because here comes the big bad bear, and that bear is not scared of archers in any way, shape, or form.
They say they nerfed the bear, but I don't feel like the bear's nerfed. He just procs so often, and he's unstoppable.
Oh, there goes the mages.
Yeah. I think he really wants
35 gold, which is just enough to have a techies and not cost you any interest.
Whoops.
Indeed. And I think the Doom is great, but surprisingly enough, Alchemist actually really fits his lineup. If he had a 2-star Alchemist, the minus armor and the tankiness is so relevant for him.
I think we're going to see the indecisiveness here from Kartoha and kind of punish him a bit. At worst, it's cost him a techies and a level 2 Alchemist. At minimum, it's cost him those. But at worst, it could cost him quite a bit more.
What's great still is that he still have lots of HP to work with, and the downside is he did find the Troll lineup again. This is the incredible lineup in the mid game, as we can see, and basically Troll Knights is like the truck that runs over everyone.
Yeah, and this is going to be a big chunk of his life. Well, how many points are we going to get? 13. That is huge, because 13 points. If it was 5, 6, no big deal. But when you get this double-digit loss, he's got to think, man, am I even strong enough to get... never mind. Level 2 Deuce is going to be able to change the game here.
There you go. And also Abaddon. He's going to swap the Abaddon as well. I hope he does that, because that's incredibly amount of power for him. No, he's not taking Abaddon.
Synergy has to be better than a second Kunkka.
100%.
Let's see.
I'm also confused with this positioning right now.
The positioning, I think, is to spread damage evenly for the Deuces to take the spells off, but because everything else is quite tanky, the Lone Druid can cast a bear quite quickly. So everything tanks evenly, the Deucer can get the cast off as we look over here. Now the Conquer bolt did miss, by the way.
And so did Power Shot. What a
boy.
Those are two ultimates that just didn't do what they're supposed to do, and that's going to cost him probably another 10 points. 14 points.
Oh gosh. Sell the Alchemist, buddy. Don't get baited by Alchemist. But I think he's going to commit on Alchemist, which is a little strange to me, because he didn't keep the first Alchemist. Never mind. I think he knew exactly what was coming, you see. Our player here knows
he looked into the future and saw... Now, if he rerolls and gets a Kunkka, we know that he's cheats. We know he's just complete hacks.
I think he's going to get a Kunkka and an Alchemist, by the looks of it.
That would be so sick. One time, come on, buddy, get that roll in there. No, he's going to live with his level 3 drow. There's 2 level 3 drows out there.
Oh gosh, But it's a mage though. I feel hunters really counter mage and mage counters hunters, depending on who is stronger in the formation. And in case you guys were wondering, the round 25 is so easy that usually no one ever loses on this round because they're range units and they tend to miss their attack when the units jump at them, and they also switch targets, so actually have a perfect tanking formation no matter what you do with those range units.
Hammer will be nice for that drow. Oh, of
Oh,
course!
oh,
There's the Kunkka! Oh my lord!
I know. So yes, look at this highlight. Over here he leveled up at round 26. This is what I say, players do this subconsciously or consciously because they want every power up after the neutral round. He did this on 21, he did this on 26. This is what I do as well, and it's basically will match each other's power. And this is really crucial as well.
And he's going to be able to get the Naga bonus now.
I
know,
really
that's
like this
incredible.
level up in this spot because he was taking big chunks of damage. If he takes another big like 13 or 14 chunk and just lets his opponents level up to 9 while he sits back and isn't proactive, he could be the first player out of this group.
Yep.
Oh, this
So
is
I do agree with this.
this is elves versus hunters, and he went through them with ease, I have to say.
Yeah.
Smoked them.
I
Rock
know.
versus scissors, advantage rock. For those who don't know, the hunters will have a chance to pierce evasion, and the elf bonus is to give you evasion. So
I think his biggest
not,
threat is
not
the
what you're looking to
troll.
play against.
Oh, and
Oh
a Tide
my
Hunter.
gosh.
Everything's coming up roses for him right now. He's got double Wind Ranger in there. I don't know that he's going to try to guild into a level 3 Wind Ranger, but that it still gives him the option if he's thinking about it.
Exactly, and with the Tide Hunter, definitely sell the slot. I was going to say the best role for him will be the Tide Hunter. Before I said it, he already found it. So yes.
Oh, how do you like the position of this Lone Druid off to the far left? Is this the same kind of deal where we want to have like the Beast Hunter being on the far left, or do we want to have that more towards the middle where the Jug is?
The Lone Druid is actually perfectly fine because he will receive most damage and he will get the bear off fast. We don't need.
Oh, does not get the bear off that time.
Usually I scream he had one job but he never did it. So the Tide did get
Yeah.
his, no, and Dusa did get hers. So it should be okay.
Yes. And,
When I have a level 2 Lone Druid, I generally look to put the Lone Druid with one empty spot next to it because you just want it to be taking damage from multiple sources. But there, it came back to bite him because there was just too much damage coming out of Ashen Limb.
Oh, a Lone Druid, he just need one more now. I would roll. Yes, he's rolling because you really want to push. You want to push for something great, but the downside is this is our
what is he pushing for?
He's pushing for a Lone
He's really
Druid.
far away from a lot of upgrades.
Yeah, he's got to get double Necro.
Yeah, he can swap to Necro for Lich or DP. He can look for a Lone Druid, and everything else he just needs to replace the Doom with something else, I feel. The Doom is great, but the downside for the Doom is level 1 he might die before he casts, and that Perfect Storm really hurt him really badly. Now the Doom's not.
Now,
Like,
Do you think
trouble
he should be
again.
going for 6 hunters at this point? He has 4 right now.
Yeah, if he had the Beastmaster, he can definitely go for 6 hunters.
well, it looks like he's going to be able to get carried through this time because the opposition is just putting up nothing there, just a wet napkin against him.
Very good description, I have to say. So the elves do get countered by the hunters because of the new updates to the hunters with the true shot. And right now it's so close, neck and neck. I think very soon.
When you get to this point and everybody's within what, maybe the difference between first and last is only 13%. So that is not much room to make a mistake.
Yeah, very soon we see our players running to the corner ready to TP as well. And for those that's not familiar with TP, what that do is the dash TP allows you to TP your car into the middle of the map, and if you run upwards or opposite direction of the death coil, you actually delay your death by 0.5 of a second, which can be incredible for positioning as well, for second or third.
Yeah, we had this discussion yesterday with Aleko if like that was an actual thing because somebody was saying that it's just like a false, like it's like a urban myth that it doesn't actually do anything, but then some people say it does. So
it does.
We're not really sure.
It does, and in my game, I did it half-heartedly. If I did it properly, I would have came third instead of fourth in one of my particular game. So it does work really well, I have to say. So instead of thinking of the myth, it's rather something something in our control that we can capitalize on right when it's neck and neck. and that's
All
really
right,
nice.
let's see what Deuce has got going on. Is Deuce going to be able to carry it home? Oh my God,
Oh,
Tidehunter
Tide.
stunned. Is he going to be able to get it
Tide.
off? Oh, power shot. Oh, this is going to be fine. He'll get there.
Yeah.
Huge Ravage.
Yeah. Come on, Ravage.
Now notice he didn't lose that round. That was really critical. And
Oh, speaking of Death Prophet.
yeah, there you go. Easy swap if he wants to, but maybe he wants the healing.
Yeah, it's also possible that he might just keep that Necro and see if he can level it up. And I mean, I might switch to Death Prophet here, put the Necro on the bench, and then see if I can pick up a couple other Necros, and then maybe switch from there. But either one of those undead is going to be just fine in his comp.
What I'm thinking is there's an option for him because it's a neutral round. There's an option for him to sell the Alchemist and sell the Lone Druid and be ready to level 10. And then this way he can put down the Necro and put down as a Lich to get 4 undead if that's the case. But what that does do is it opens him up for too many 1-star units. So let's see how our player does it.
Well, that's a nice position to be able to just go ahead and smoke all of those guys, not lose anything. It doesn't look like any of the players lost that round. So,
Indeed. That's very well played by them as well. Because usually that's a really hard round. Okay, our player went for the route of rolling instead of leveling. Both are very crucial for him at this point.
oh,
Alchemist again. How many Alchemists did he sell to him by?
I was gonna.
I think he
What?
sold a level 3 Alchemist by this point.
Yeah.
Close,
Now, let me
close.
ask you here. He put a javelin onto Dusa. I'm not certain that that's necessary. If we're going to put Dusa front line, wouldn't that be better to put that javelin on one of those hunters that's going to be able to do?
Yeah, I would look to put it on the DP actually. The Dusa already has the Voidstone on it and is charging the ult pretty fast. The
There we
reason
go.
he's putting it on the Dusa isn't for damage, it's just to charge the ult even more quickly. So,
Now, notice that he does have the Meteor Hammer. He will have a Maelstrom after the next turn, I think. That's one of the reasons he put it on her. And
oh, the Dusa had a... Oh, so he'll get the Maelstrom on the Dusa.
Yes, he'll get a
Oh, that's
Maelstrom.
fine.
Sense.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, otherwise I think I'll definitely put it on other hunters because Dusa does not need additional damage to recharge. Oh, that's a tough
Hey,
row.
how about 2 Deuces and level 2
Oh,
Alchemist?
he saw the Windrunner. Okay. I think our friend really
Well-
wants a Doom here.
Well, he's very, very scared here because he's at 18%. It goes 18, 10, 9, 5, 3. This could be the last round of this round, just with so much power out there and so many rock, paper, scissors matchups. This could be it, but he's going to put that second Dusa in and try to get that crowd control.
Yeah, indeed. And I think he's staying on the Lone Druid for so long. He needs
Oh my
Spider
God,
Fury.
There is 2 Tidehunters on the other side, 2 Deuces on one side.
Oh, boy.
There's a Ravage. Who's going to get his own Ravage off? Let's
Is
see.
that a Blink Tide?
Oh,
It
he's
is.
got a 2-man Ravage.
He bought the Fury. Good. I was worried for him. I was like, in case he forgot. Now he won convincingly with the 2 Dusa. Very strong, I have to say. Top
And
4.
Ashlem is going to go ahead and get knocked out there. And TGJ is also gone. That's going to put him a top 3 finish. And he's only got to get 10 and 3 out here.
Wow, excellent.
Oh, wait
Oh.
a minute. Hold up.
Oh, hold up. Now Chaos Knight is really good bruiser. I think he should win Chaos Knight because Chaos Knight is so tanky in the lineup. Yeah, Chaos Knight might win here. No. Unfortunately,
No, I was
that's a
gonna
full
say
second slot.
That would be oh, maybe. Let's see. Is Chaos Knight going to be? Oh my God, Chaos Knight almost came through there against the TA.
Oh boy, that was such a big win.
That would have been sick.
Oh, perfect.
Now he's in top 2.
Enchantress, if Enchantress come, he make. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god!
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
That was basically the only upgrade he could have reasonably expected to get this turn, other than Doom.
Yeah.
He wasn't probably not going to find 2 DPs or 2 Tidehunters. I guess he could have found 1 Doom. Oh, there he gets the other Doom
Oh,
too.
there's the Doom too.
There you go, guys. He forgot his
right,
position.
all
His
right.
Lone Druid. Oh, he got the time. He's got the time.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about this Tidehunter. Where should this Tidehunter be? Is that based on where he's at? Shouldn't that be?
Yes,
On the
he
other
should be
side?
changing the Tidehunter for
Yeah,
sure.
it should not be against the humans. I think So
Yeah.
one of them might get human silenced here. It's not going to. Oh, it did. It did.
Oh,
it's
boy.
in it, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the end, I think. The mages cast much earlier than he did, and the silence from Disruptor was the
That
basic.
could have been the
both have-
difference in the fight.
Yeah,
Well, but here's what's going to happen is that he's not actually going to end up losing. I mean, he'll lose, but he's not going to be dead. So he's going to be able to make it through here. And both players lost. We're at 11 and 5 now.
Yes, indeed. Very close,
So-
neck and neck.
More important than rolls or anything at this stage of the game is the mind game of being able to place your units. First place can almost fundamentally come down to how you're going to arrange these Medusas in the front line. So
That's
what I would
so
like to
true.
do is wait until there's about 5 seconds
Yep.
left.
And
So
switch.
just like a very minimal amount of time, and then make swaps. If you swap right now, your opponent can react to it. I think something you really want to be tricky right towards the end
Yeah.
and just make sure those Medusas aren't lining up against humans. But you can see MX3 didn't move anything at all. So I think that's he's leaving a bit on the table here because this fight comes down to this.
Is
TP.
he going to get a Ravage off?
He's got a
If he
TP.
gets this Ravage off, I think he's going to go ahead and win. It's just a matter of, is he going to be able to live and get it? Oh, he got stunned. Here we go. There's the Ravage.
Oh, he won. He won. I think he won. Yeah, he won. That's going to be a celebration TP. Excellent,
Yep.
excellent. Very
And
GG
hey,
well played and
it-
good transition
and
into
it's
Hunters.
Just what Aleko said. His opponent did not reposition, and now he was able to put his Tidehunter in the correct spot, get the Medusa in the right spot, put the Conqueror in the right spot, and be able to get all of that crowd control and take him to the victory.
Indeed, indeed. And I think there were some highlights there. He did sell the Tinker really fast and gave lots of items to Medusa that carried him in the mid game until he found his ideal lineup. And also the top decking with the Lone Druid and with a lot of Conquers was, that's
That
how
was
Queen
sick.
players do it, I think.
But remember, everybody at home, that in auto chests, you also have to be good to get lucky. So he did level up to give himself the opportunity to even have some of those upgrades available.
Yes, indeed. And, congratulations to our friend. And yes, and not only that, he will be one of our focus for the upcoming rounds as well. Very excited.